Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the PES-Association Football Podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Natchai.
We are your community management team for the English page and other factors as well.
Yes.
Other magical factors. And we're back once again with episode 6?
Yeah.
Podcast 6, wow. Time flies.
Yeah.
It really is. So, as we're now in the 12th season of the game, how have you been doing so far this season?
Are we in the 12th season?
Mm-hmm, season 12.
Oh. Wow, yeah, it's been going fast. Well, I've recently had to change a lot of things.
Explain.
Well, so a few of my players left, and I couldn't find any good replacements for them, even though I had like 200 scouting tickets or something ridiculous.
Well, when you say decent, what do you mean when you say decent? Just ones who are good? That's ideal. Are you being a fussy player, Natchai?
No. I literally mean like players that just didn't have the correct stats for the correct position in the formation. Like I was not scouting for 85 plus players or anything like that.
You shouldn't be doing that, by the way, guys.
Nope.
That's not because you're not gonna find them all.
No. And you're going to lose a lot of.
And then you're going to have no scouting tickets,
yeah.
And then you're going to blame us. When, in all honesty, you know, if there's a guy with eight of your stats who's 85 overall, and a guy who's 75 and still has the 8, and it's that stat that's required.
Yeah.
He's going to be kind of as good.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least in the same ballpark.
But so yeah, I had to write down like all of the attributes that my current players had for their positions. Mm-hmm. And then I had to like manually go through all the formations. Ooh. Like, okay, which one is closest to what I have? Mm.
So you sort of did it in reverse. You had the players and you try and fit the formation to it.
Yeah, because I couldn't afford to buy like a whole ton of new players, so I had to go that way.
You're showing adaptability.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a new formation now and it seems to be okay.
What's your formation?
Chivo or something.
Chivo?
Yeah. I don't know. I've personally never heard of it before, but...
Ooh. We'll have to find out the entire history of Chivo.
Yeah.
For the Chivo fans that will complain to us after this podcast, I suppose.
So for the players that are emulating my team...
You're out of date.
Yeah, you're out of date.
Maybe you can call yourself Classic Natchai.
Vanilla Natchai.
Vanilla Natchai.
How about your team?
Well, despite the fact that I was doing okay, I was doing okay, and it just so happened that my team were old. We knew that, and we knew that something would have to be done about those players that I still had, and there'd been some minor changes here and there, but it still wasn't doing exactly what I wanted the team to do. I'm still happy in my just sort of 7th, 8th bracket,
right.
And with the occasional push through into 4th or whatever it is that I sometimes do. I think I ended up 5th last season.
I ended up 5th last season.
If you ended up 5th and I was 6th, because I was 1 point behind you, or goal difference or something ridiculous. Yeah. The team was performing very well last season against the Konami teams. And the teams that normally cause trouble to us, which are Ian and Celta Vigo, Goku, who's this other team, who's other very obviously Konami team, and they've only been playing for like half the amount of time, and they're the big threat now as opposed to Celta and Ian really. So Goku, Goku keeps sneaking the league title on the last match of the season.
Yeah, he does.
I think that's like 2 or 3 times in a row now. They've took it the last game of the season against In, where In have done a draw, and then Goku have done a win, and it's just that 1 point or that goal difference has snuck it. But they performed very well against them, and against you. I do have to say, we re-established the dominance after a tweak last season.
I've just written about it. It was
in painful tones.
Yeah.
Yes, because I did a big change as well, in that I changed, not really a big change, I suppose, because it's similar-ish, but it's gone from Benfica, which I'd used for about 5 seasons now, to Bayern.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and boy has that worked.
Yeah, it's working well for you.
It's worked. Last time I saw the table, I was second, and I just lost my last game, which was the first game I've lost so far, including the cup. But I think that was probably one of the ones that I was expecting to lose.
Right.
I was interested in the formation that I lost against as well.
Which one was
it? That's Porto.
Porto.
I lost against Porto, which I don't think is one that many people use. I'd love to know the most popular formations, actually.
Aside from the standard ones.
Because I expect it's going to be Galatasaray and Marseille, and then the likes of Man Red and Bayern actually as well. I think. But I just love to know like the most used and the least used, because there's advantages there for both. Because obviously the ones that are used the most, you have more information on in ranking.
Yeah.
And obviously the ones that at least people you don't know, it's a double-edged sword, because you don't know as much, but then no one else knows much about you as well. This is why I think the people who have the international formations down the line, if they get those super optimized, they could have quite a big advantage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm about second at the moment, and I was destroying things for fun. It was not only that, I was keeping clean sheets and not letting many goals in.
Which is the first for you.
Which is a first, yeah. As it was established in my blog that as at the time of recording gone up about an hour ago. It just so happens that the team that have let the most goals in, for teams that have let the most goals in the entire history of the game, I am second in the all-time list of goals conceded. But at the same time, I'm fifth I'm fifth for the area in goals scored, and I'm probably in about the top 10 for goals scored all time. So I've got both sides. That's great. I'm both terrible and amazing. So yeah, all good. But you'll get to read about that and what have you. But there's lots going on. It's very interesting. Last season, which cup are you in?
Right now I'm in the PS Cup.
Yeah, because last season I did a push forward and ended up in Konami, because I ended up in fourth last season.
Right.
So I'm in Konami. Is that right? Well, I'm in Konami Cup, so I must have been somewhere around. I must have done really well then.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just like on the last day of the season I got third or something. I don't know.
Possible.
Anyway, that's enough discussion from us.
Yep.
We just want to touch back to some of the Sunday discussions we had that we've had recently, because we do find them very interesting, and to know what you guys really think about the game, as in the real, in quotation marks, real game of football that's going on. Obviously, lots in discussion at the moment. Is Rooney leaving Man Red? All these things going on.
Yeah. Man Red is going to be a different team.
Very different team. Not there's anything wrong with that, but it'd be very interesting to see how the lay of the land is.
Yeah.
Especially with some big transfer offers floating about from them, which is not something that happens regularly.
No.
You know, there's many people who don't care about Man. We know we're both Man Red supporters, obviously. We've got to establish this. But if you didn't realise that, then I think we've told it in an interview the other day. But
yeah, we did.
It was in the German one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But one of the things we asked recently was your best defenders of all time. It could be like legends of the game, modern ones as well. But which one do you think is best? I mean, a vast array of answers, which was great from all over the continent, multiple continents. None from the sea, unfortunately, but yeah, we don't see a national team from those oil rigs.
No.
Do we? No.
Not yet.
In the middle of the tour map, no. sort of Beckenbauer and Moore and Puyol. Tony Adams was mentioned. I was quite pleased to see Tony Adams mentioned, actually. Laurent Blanc.
Yeah.
He was great, Laurent Blanc. He was an absolute rock.
Yeah.
You just couldn't move the guy. It was like, whenever you were playing him, whenever your national side was playing France, it was like, going on defence, is Blanc there? If Blanc's there, oh well. Pass. Left to right, don't really matter which side it is, just pass, because you're not going to get past him. You're just not. Jamie Carragher. Jamie Walker mentions Jamie Carragher. Stick them together. Emre Gukan mentions Cannavaro, Nesta, Stam, Campbell. Crikey, that'd be a hard defence.
Yeah.
That'd be a defence you wouldn't want to upset.
No. I still remember that one situation where Stam had like a gash in his eye. Just went to the sideline, got it stitched up.
Oh yeah, it was right around the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, got back in the game.
Completely no-sold this massive injury. Well, another one, getting a bit gory here, but I mean, the classic one is with Terry Butcher, the defender, and he had a ridiculous. I can't remember if it was a World Cup or somewhere, or it was some international match, obviously. But there's this very striking image of him who's gashed his head and they just wrapped it in bandages, almost cartoon style. And there's a iconic in English football anyway picture of him just afterwards, and he's very sort of wide-eyed and he's like completely adrenaline on the edge, and all the badges are coated in blood. The white shirt is now red mostly. Like I said, I'll have to show you this picture, but it's just played on through this. They literally just wrapped him up as best as they could and stuck him back out there, because he was
walk it off.
Yeah, but he was that kind of player that would, and he was just annoyed.
Yeah,
he'd been inconvenienced by this. Cafu, Vidic. I'd love to see Vidic play a bit more this season, I really would. Silva, Baresi, Ramos, lots for Maldini. Lots of answers for Maldini, not just from the Italian contingent as well. Lots saying about proper respect for the game and as a team, moving the team forward. It's a bit like the captain one we had the other day, actually. Mm-hmm. Nesta. Danny Krieger said Jürgen Kohler. Remember Jürgen Kohler. We had Ferdinand and Hierro. Yeah, lots of people. Sort of real classic defenders and big ones. I'd have put Pearce in there. I think I did put Pearce in my. I think I wrote the actual initial question, so that was Pearce would be for me. Any defenders that strike a memory?
I'd have to agree on Ferdinand and Nesta. Nesta, just because my mom was such a big fan of him.
Really? Yeah. Brilliant. We did have one vote for Eric Cantona as a superb defender. Do we really need to clarify that for people? He's a very well-known defender, Eric Cantona. Very, very well known. That popular number for centre defence, number 7.
Yeah.
So I could, if it was a normal, I was like other attackers, because other attackers sometimes move back.
Right.
Is what they sort of cross over. They don't go into midfield. The attackers become defenders, and defenders will end up becoming attackers for some reason. But then they sort of just don't meet in the middle at all.
No.
All right. Things going on in the game. Apologies if you hear a lot of noise in the background, by the way. It's actually the rest of the CM team in the kitchen next door.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
It's a Friday. They want to drink, have some water and tea and coffee, and it's shut up. So it's not the ghost this time.
No.
It's just a bunch of rowdy multinational community managers. Things going on in the game in terms of updates, fixes, and bugs. The achievements. There was something going on with the achievements, wasn't there?
Yes, the 12th man bug and the thou shall not pass bug. So both of these were not functioning properly because the text says let in 20 goals or less. And it was functioning to only work when you had 19 or less.
So what was happening, and this was something that we suggested might be the cause a while back actually, was that you had a progress bar of 20 to let you know obviously how far you are through the progress, but when it hit the 20 it just went, oh, the bar's full, and then locked up the achievement.
Yeah.
Where of course actually you've still got that extra chance going on.
That has now been fixed, but obviously there are still some people who suffered from it in the past season, which we're now contacting and trying to get that.
Yeah, we're trying to get in
it
contact with
unlocked.
people and sort that out for them as much as we can anyway. But it'll never happen again though, so it's all sorted. All the ones that are connected with that have got a similar sort of mechanic. They were all fixed at the same time, so we don't have to worry about that one anymore. The cup image bug, why will not die?
No.
We've tried everything now. It just won't go away. But we're sworn to. We're sworn to that it'll disappear at the end of this season permanently. We're absolutely sworn to. But again, as always, it's just the image. Pay no attention. It's the result that counts.
And you are getting the right rewards.
You are indeed getting the right rewards. Major updates we had. Well, it wasn't anything major.
No, nothing
this
major.
particular season.
No.
There was a new position though,
A new position on the ranking.
and it's a midfield position, a centre midfield position.
Which I'm sure will help out a lot of people.
It depends, of course, upon your formation itself as to which the position
one
it
it really
is, but
is,
it does appear to be a centre or midfield position, whichever formation you have. But the exact position, whether it's like midfield or defensive midfield, is depends, of course. Other things going on though, I think that was it.
Yeah.
In terms of changes.
There was some stuff done in the back end.
Oh, there was a couple of tweaks here and there, and just
to improve
cleaning
server
out.
stability and stuff like that.
The servers have been optimized a bit. The servers, we found an orange position for the servers, and we've hauled them across the floor and put them in there.
Yeah.
And now they're working a lot better. Servers that don't have a natural orange, we're working on to get fixed. Also, that list of I was talking to the forum about players who do not apparently have a strong natural position. That list has actually been sent off to the dev team now, so they'll be looking at that. Honestly, I doubt we'll see anything happen immediately. It'll probably happen within the changes for the new season.
Yep, exactly. Which we're getting a lot of questions about.
Yes, which actually brings us straight away to the first question. Actually,
Well,
it's like a segue you planned. It's Sesko Wower or Wower. I'm not sure which one it is. So Sesko7 Kesko on Twitter says, PES-AF, will there be any changes regarding real-life player transfers and attributes for the current database? Well, yes, there will.
yeah.
In short, there's going to be an update around sometime in August.
Yeah.
There'll be like a first stage change, and after that, there'll be, after a couple of weeks when the transfer window closes, then there'll be a final update which brings everything up to date.
Mm-hmm.
There will be obviously players probably leaving the game at that point in time.
Yeah.
Not overly sure how that's going on. So I don't expect Beckham to stay around in the game anymore.
No, unfortunately not.
Likewise, Scholes, I don't expect him to stay around.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also the situation with the formations as well. because formations will be updated to the new optimized levels for the new team.
Yeah.
So please be aware when this happens, and we'll let you know nearer the time. But your formation is going to change.
Yeah. Your Barcelona formation may not work exactly the way that it's working now. In terms of
Oh wait, you've got to
optimization.
put Neymar in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You want Neymar in Barcelona shirt? You've got to accept everything that comes with that. That's going to be, he's going to be playing, so he's going to be in a position in the Barcelona formation that will obviously change the outlook of that formation, and that's something that you'll have to work with, and it will affect everybody, obviously, unless your team has just not bought anyone, and nobody has left. They are that happy, and they renewed all their contracts. They are perfectly fine.
And no one aged at all.
No one aged. No one aged. They took the Ryan Giggs gene and no one aged. So there's that, but there's also a situation with formations because there will be teams that got relegated.
Yeah. And those formations will be disappearing.
We believe.
We believe so. And they will be replaced by formations that are now promoted into the league.
Because those go out of the league, therefore they're not under the licensing anymore.
Yeah.
So they can't be included anymore because the new players will be included. So there'll be new formations replacing those formations. As far as we gather.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything to worry about if you're Man Blue or Real or Bayern or Marseille or any of these teams. Although if you have a formation of a team that got relegated, you might want to start thinking about changing it around and just thinking ahead a bit and going, hey, I might have this for the next 2 seasons, but I might not have this for the third.
Yeah.
We'll have more information for you as soon as we're aware of what it is.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get that out there now so that you're aware. And of course, we'll obviously find out what those new formations are and how you. I mean, it might well be a straight swap, because otherwise,
you would lose formation.
Otherwise, how would you get them in Tor?
Yeah.
If you've already gone through that node area, so I'm assuming it would be a straight swap. But so there's that. And we've also got the new players and the updates to players. There may be some adjustments to players, of course.
Yeah, probably.
If the situation has changed drastically with players, I mean, there'll be it'll still be different again to PES 2014, but it'll probably be again somewhat in line with it. So any changes will probably be affected. Probably be reflected, I should say, with PES-AF. But again, there will still be the differences. I know that we had a couple of the questions this show. Why is this player 68? Why is this player 77?
Yeah.
And for the most part, that's subjective, because it's like, I think this player is really, really good. Why have you rated him this one? Well, in comparison, he's not.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
yeah, it ultimately depends on everything that's going on. What's the next question, Natchai?
Sergey asked, my formation is not pop in my area, only 3 team played Toulouse formation. He's basically asking for the ranking so that you can view multiple areas for your formation. Because indeed, if your formation is not that popular, you're obviously not getting that much information, which we've talked about.
Yeah, which we referred to at the beginning. Well, as you know, guys, there's other things coming into Tor, because we've already mentioned this. And Tor is going to be very much linked in with learning, and it'll be things that you can get in Tor that will unlock more positions in the ranking.
Yep.
So if those people going, well, there's only 3 positions open so far in the ranking by position. Yeah, well, you're going to have to go and earn those. in order to do that. I think dragging all the data in from every area in the game would probably
Crash the servers.
well, I wouldn't say crash the servers, but it would be a very difficult thing in terms of load.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going, oh yes, this position, click this position, so they've got to pull everything in again. I don't see that happening. I could see an expansion of it to, say, if you've got one area and then maybe like to 5.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Or on some sort of progressive unlock or something like that. But again, that would be something that you would unlock in Tor. It's unlocking Tor for free items, and there's possibly, and I'm saying this now in case it happens and people then start saying, hey, you only said Tor. No, I mean, it's the sort of thing that could be, like, there could be keys made available in the store for unlocking positions as well. I wouldn't find that particularly offensive to me as a player, to be honest. So that's the sort of thing that there could be added stuff in the store relating to the unlocking. I've always thought that there probably was going to be something like that anyway, with the things we've discussed previously, with like the 12th man or the extra member of coaching staff, all the things that we've discussed on here before. So yeah, I would expect that to happen at some point.
Yep, very likely. Capitanox asks whether our players' graphics will receive an update from the new Fox engine that PES-2014.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it, if we had the Fox engine with all the graphics? Nice. I doubt it.
Maybe there will be like an organic changeover for like new players or something. But we don't have any key information on that yet. When we do know about any graphics being updated or anything like that, we will, of course, inform all of you guys.
I don't know how much in terms of graphics we share with the console game.
Yeah.
Again, we've got no real contact with the console game, which is a shame because we've got questions about it later on in this show. But like I said, we're kind of a different entity. We're like a cousin, I guess, of the main console game. So when there's graphical items that we share, I suspect those will be updated. And if there's a big difference, then everything else would have to be brought into line. But I don't know. It's a really big update that will happen. That's to be clear. This is the next big update. Will be obviously the changing round of the game over the course of like 3 weeks to bring it up to spec for the beginning of the 2013-14 season.
Yeah.
Mohammed says, the energy is boring. We're not really sure how to make energy more exciting.
No.
It's you use energy and you play through Tor. You get obviously your extra scouting tickets there. Of course, concentrating probably, I imagine, on the map, which gives you ×2 scouting tickets.
Hopefully.
Then you've got your XP, which of course gains you additional levels and extra 1,000 coins when you do, and a pair of boots occasionally if it's a special level.
Yep. So
it's stuff for you to do, but it's a bit like saying the scouting tickets are boring, or it's a currency you use to access things.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as coins. It's the exact same as friend points. It's the exact same as scouting tickets. The point is the same. So yeah, we can't really do much to make energy itself more interesting. Who's next?
Ubaid is asking us a question which I think is later down the line as well. He says that we're not adding trading for reasons that we've mentioned.
We've mentioned every show.
Yeah. But he requests if we would provide something like a long list instead of a short list?
Yeah, it's Mac who mentions this later on.
Yes.
And as opposed to a short list having a, quote, long list of 8 players or 15 to 20, as mentioned here about, because this wants like a transfer market, which will show us 15 to 20 players listed for purchase randomly. That list keeps changing every hour or so that we could get exactly the player we want instead of just sitting by just on luck. Well, you'd still be on luck because they're random players. And I don't know, would it be different for every person? What would be the point of having scouting tickets at the end of the season? Well, because you'd just not have any. I mean, if it wiped out all your scouting tickets at the end of the season to have that would be the only logical way, really. And you wouldn't. Oh, I saw on the pre-season day. We're going to stop calling it off-season. It's pre-season now, because off-season is confusing some people. So we say pre-season for the day immediately prior to the actual league starting. So, yeah, having a transfer market, I don't see it, and then I think Max is about having the 8 players.
For double tickets.
And having double the tickets and having just 8 players show up. Well, you could just have 4 players show up and then have another 4 players show up, and either they'll be in the first 4,
or they won't be.
Or they won't be, and if they are, if the player you want is in the first 4, then you've saved 4 scouting tickets.
Yeah.
Or however many. Say 5 scouting tickets then if it's silver. But yeah, I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
It would be good, but not with the way it's set up. The game itself is set up at the moment. I don't see that. The stat 10 issues mentioned again. Same player as well, just because Raphael hasn't improved for them. Your fantastical young player who's very, very powerful, there was a third chance that they didn't improve, and they didn't improve. Again, having 1/3, when there's 3 stats and one of them is maxed out, there is a 1 in 3 chance of it not improving.
Yeah. Because it's already
complaining that that the chance is 1 in 3 that they will not improve, and that's far too much, is a bit impossible because there's only 3 things.
Yeah,
we've run out of ways to explain this mathematical situation.
Yeah,
we can't just add something in, or change it, what have you. But it's just not going to work like that. I'm sorry. Saif bin Slimani says, I'll summarise this because it's a bit jumbled, but doesn't score most of his penalties according to this. He's got a 10 rated player and has missed 3 penalty kicks in 1 game and lost 1-0, and this is completely unrealistic. Having 3 penalty kicks in the game, I'd love to have seen this game where you've actually got 3 penalty kicks in there to begin with, which is very good. Your problem is that you're assuming that because they've got a 10, they will score every time.
Yeah, which is not the case.
That's not the case, because what happens if if the opposition's goalkeeper's 10? What happens then? Does the ball just stop him midair in between the two of them because it can't go forward and it can't
the
go
ball has a
anywhere else?
philosophical discussion with itself.
Yeah.
What happens when an unstoppable force?
I am the ball, but what does that mean? No, if you've got a 10, you've got a much less chance that you'll miss, but you can still miss, and it depends upon, you've got a 10 player. Was the 10 player selected to be the penalty taker? Mm-hmm. It would probably be my first question. It depends upon what's going on in the game. So having 3 penalties in a game, unless you're in extra time, in which case only one of your 10 player will only take one penalty anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd love to see the match, just to see these 3 penalties take place, because I think I've seen 2 penalties in the same match twice, but never 3. As for missing all 3 of the penalties, well,
maybe the goalkeeper was having an amazing day.
Yeah, or alternatively, maybe your player was playing very badly.
Yeah,
you can be the best player in the world, and you can still balloon it over the bar.
exactly.
See Baggio 94. Sorry, Italian players, but that's the best example we can give. The best player in the world on the biggest stage of them all. There was no way he would miss. And he missed.
Yeah.
Anybody can miss a penalty. Anybody can score a penalty. But the chance of you doing that are determined by your skill. Back to Ronaldinho, or Meg Johnson, as we know. Now I'll conquer you with my rain of evil questions. More ha ha ha. Oh, stop. Save us all. So we've had what about extra abilities for players?
I don't know. The suggestion is pretty weird to me. So he suggests that Ronaldo would be dribbler, Ramos would be goal line clearer, Casillas would be goalie long throw. I don't know. I think these are more like
bonus abilities, but I'm not quite sure how that would fit into the way the game is. I mean, if it was like no, it would be a different type of management game.
Yeah.
Entirely, I think, to implement those. And how would you really judge? How would you judge their impact individually? I mean, all those sort of things are kind of in the stats anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're a dribbler, you should probably have high technique and high speed.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
And you're going to be very artistic.
Goal line clearer would be a sort of a person who would have high power, potentially decent speed. Maybe the more logical thinker as well type player. I don't know. Goalie long throw. Technique and power. Pinpoint pass. That's pure technique.
Yeah.
Pure technique. Bicycle kick expert.
Technique as well.
Yeah. Again, that's technique. Long ball. Be power and technique. Mm-hmm. So it's those sort of things really. They'll be kind of a part of the stats anyway. Is Brad Friedel in the game? Yes, he is.
He is?
I believe so.
I haven't seen him yet.
I haven't seen him either. I would have quite liked to have had Brad Friedel in my squad, but because he's one of those players you just don't mess with Brad Friedel. He looks like a monster, and he plays like a beast, and he should be for Northeast. He should be in the Northeast London squad. That's who he plays for. So I believe if you look in the gallery, you should find him listed down. Mm-hmm. So I personally haven't seen him either, but he must be there. I can't believe that Brad isn't included. And if he isn't, then well, golly, we'll see about that because he's Brad Friedel. Okay, so why does it take so long to get back in the game after daily maintenance?
Well, because everyone's
trying to come back in after daily maintenance. There's a tidal wave of people trying to get into the game, so there is a bottlenecking effect, and so it will be slower immediately after.
Yeah.
After that,
there's not a whole lot that we can do about this. No. So yeah.
There's just like you are an eager person to get into the game, there are many others who are also very eager to find out what's going on, hit the ranking and get all the data switch around all their players.
And send all the gifts.
Send all the that's the thing. Yeah, you go in, you do your first gifts, and you get any requests in for tour. Get those all out of the way. So lots going on. Right. What else have we got? Is PES-AF Pro Evolution Soccer Association football? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Who is your favourite player? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite player?
My favorite player has always been Beckham.
Always.
Yeah, ever since I was like a little boy, I guess like 12 or something. He's been my favorite player ever since.
My favourite player when I was growing up, I mean, I always had various favourite players, I think, just regardless of the team.
Right.
And for all these players who were never recognised properly, or something, but a Merseyside Blues defender, David Unsworth, was, and again, even Merseyside Blue fans are probably going, what, at this moment in time, but I like David Unsworth. He did a lot of stuff. He got on with his job, and he was good on the corners, and I don't know, I just like the way he played. But my main football hero growing up was a player for Soton, and that was Matt Letizia, who was a genius. There is no other word to describe him. He was an absolute genius. He had a bad reputation for the international, and just generally, his detractors always said that he was lazy. Actually, because he was just, he didn't really run anywhere. But he was the striker, the playmaker, and everything. But the fact he didn't run because he just made everything look so utterly effortless. I mean, the amount of times that he just there's some very classic instances of kind of humiliating man red. And others, he was like the perennial. Every single time there was like goal of the season, when the BBC was like picking goal of the season on Match of the Day in the 90s, if there wasn't at least 2 goals from Letizia in the selection, so not just 1 but 2. He was a superb free kick taker, just ridiculous skill. I think he missed 1 penalty ever so even then he was one of the best penalty takers in the country, and he missed. They actually have this on film because they had to show this to people because nobody actually believed that there was one occasion that he actually did miss, because it was for all the Premier League and everything, and he was scoring them all. But he scored some spectacular goals against Tyneside and other teams as well. But so look him up. He is called Le God. His nickname was Le God, just for Soton fans, and he's still thought of as just the icon of that particular team. So he just scored some just astounding goals. He didn't really play for England. He was actually born in the Channel Islands, so he could kind of could have played for France if he wanted to, but didn't. He stuck with England, and he only really had a couple of runs out when Glenn Hoddle was the boss for England during that time, but didn't really work well. Again, it was like, lazy. He was like, no, he just doesn't look like he's trying, but he is. If we just give him the ball, he's just a player that you build the team around this player, and then stuff happens. Yeah. He kept Soton up. And I know I'm waxing lyrical about this, but I do. You asked me my favourite player. This is what happened. Soton were always in the relegation zone, and he's like single-handedly, more or less, keeping this team in the Premiership for like 5 seasons in a row. Last day of the season, free kick from like miles out, top corner, he saved the day. He scored the last goal at the old ground before they closed it, and it was like it was a completely sentimental thing because he'd been having injuries and it was at the end of his career, and they're going to move to what is referred to in PES-AF as Bristol St Mary's Stadium. Mm-hmm. They actually moved to there, and which is weird because obviously Bristol isn't actually anywhere near Soton, but never mind. And they were moving there, and they say the last game of the season it was going wrong. I think they were losing, and he came on just because sentimentality. It's like we want him to play. The fans wanted him to play. Everything was done and dusted for the season, and he scored a cracking goal as well. I think it was. Like outside of the box chip or something, but it's just like absolute fairy tale ending. So they didn't lose. I don't think they won, which is a very Soton thing to do. They didn't win, but they still got the result and didn't lose on the last match at their old ground. And I think that's right anyway. But whatever happens, he got the last goal, and then there was a really funny moment though because one of their defenders who'd never scored, yeah, and he was like a long time player as well, and he'd never scored, and about 2 minutes to go, he just launched an absolute rocket. No one knew where the heck this had come from out of his locker for 10 years of playing at this club, and it just rocketed off of the bar. And it was like, oh! And I remember the commentator saying, "It's like this guy never knowing how close he would have been, just being booed by his own fan for ruining the moment of Letizia being the last one to score." It's like you just tried to steal this moment, this final moment of glory from like the club captain and the icon of the team. It's like, yeah, I scored my first goal. Oh no, that was a mistake. But yeah, so that's my one. But my mum's very fond of Beckham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So old Becks is lovely. So anyway, so yeah, that's our favourite player. And now we get into the next question relating to Pro Evolution Soccer 14.
Yeah. When will PES-14 be released? We can't say.
Don't know.
Yeah, we simply don't know. As we said before, we were not in contact with the console team. We're not even in the same building, so...
Yeah, this is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult for that. But what I can tell you is that we get our information the same way you get your information, I hope, which is through the official channels for PES. So if you're on Twitter, obviously you're on Facebook, just look up Pro Evolution Soccer, and there's a Facebook page there. Lots of people on it.
Yeah.
You can talk to them about coins. You can... So, like that page. Alternatively, it's twitter.com/official PES. Official PES, all one word, no underscores or anything like that. And it just so happens that their most recent conversation that they have going at the moment, they say that the announcements relating to the PES 2014 demo will be made at the end of this month, so the end of July. They'll be revealed about the details for the demo. So, demo details first, and then
final release details later.
Yeah, final release details later. But they'll know it, and we won't.
Yep. Tell Adam we said hi.
Tell Adam we said hi, and the rest of that team. They've got a podcast now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting up a podcast. So yeah, you're 6 issues behind, boys. Gotta get moving on. Lacey gives us some good questions here, actually. Do players perform better if teammates perform better? For example, a good defender's impact on how many balls they get in midfield. Well, it's sort of subjective, but obviously, if you've got a good midfield, they're pushing balls through to the attack, and the defense isn't as
active. Yeah.
Isn't as active. But so yes. Ultimately, if your defence is stopping the attacks and getting more balls through to and clearing it, then there'll be more balls coming through to midfield from them. But at the same time, that means midfield isn't doing a very good job because they're winning the midfield battle. So it would have an impact, but it waxes and wanes and is dependent upon everyone. I mean, obviously, everyone's doing their job and doing their job really well, and you're going to probably win.
Yeah. I guess this just follows normal football logic.
Yeah, it's yes they do. I mean, if you follow the ball on the, it sounds a bit weird to say. If you follow the ball in football, but no, if on the match screen, if you follow the ball, it's actually, if you actually really look at it and find out where that path of that ball is going around the pitch, and it does kind of give you quite a few ideas as to what's really going on there, and who's losing the ball, who actually is losing the ball when they have it. So you'll see that there'll be balls that will go from defence to attack. There'll be lots of long balls and counter attacks and things. So nationality has a bonus, and teams have a bonus. Does it stack or is it all together? So is it a case of if you say got 10% of a bonus for having the nationality, would you then, and the other one was another 10%, would it be 10% or 110% of the total and then 10% of the 110%, or would it just be 20%? So,
I think it works in a way that if you get the bonus for the team itself, so for instance, if you're a Barcelona player, then the nationality doesn't matter if you're in the Barcelona formation. If you're not a Barcelona player but you are of Spanish nationality, then you get the nationality bonus. I think that would make most sense.
I think that the optimization for the team would be stronger because obviously that's as specific.
Yeah.
If they're the same nationality within the team, that wouldn't really. You're right. That wouldn't really matter because it's likely their position. That they're playing in, so that you can't really get much more optimised than that, I guess. For other situations, I doubt it stacks. It's not something that we're entirely clear on. Yeah, really.
I mean, I don't think a Spanish Barcelona player will get more of a boost than a non-Spanish Barcelona player.
But if they do, I would be very surprised if it's stacked.
Yeah.
I think it would be more of a total bonus percentage as opposed to it going this.
Yeah.
The third one in relation to finding players.
Yeah. I realize we don't need more coins. We need scouting tickets.
Can we hold on that position? I realize we don't need more coins. Thank you. Please carry on.
So he's talking about his need for scouting tickets or changing the packs because it's hard to find wingers or specific midfield positions or anything like that.
I think we've talked before about the problem with that is because when you're trying to find right or left-sided players, by default, you're more likely to find a centre player. Because there are, in most of the formations, you've got twice as many players in the centre channel than you have on the left or the right.
Yeah.
So you have a 50% chance of getting a central defender. But you've only a 25% chance of finding a left back.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the sheer numbers of players playing the positions, and how formations are set up. So it is difficult. It is difficult to find him, and I know because everyone has that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Think that it would be solvable by an extension to the scouting system, which I think we've mentioned before and discussed before. But I think, but you're always going to have that there are more players in the centre channel, because otherwise there'd be very little defence, very little stopping anyone just walking straight in the middle. Dibizal, Danny boy. He says, I just want to know dates. Oh, we can't tell you dates.
No.
As soon as we told you dates, it'd be out of date.
That's the thing about the game industry.
Yeah.
As soon as you mention a date, it gets pushed back.
Why do you think when anybody announces a date, they say the first thing you hear is it'll be in a Q whatever or an early, end, mid, and even then it sometimes changes. We can't tell you that because what if something happens to the game and we've got to delay stuff.
And then you guys are mad.
You guys are mad. It's like, why did you tell us? We asked. It's a kind of a no-win situation. So it's as close as possible. We tell you a date as close as possible, but often you'll find us being cautious about specifics.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that it can change, and there's been instances when we've known of an intended date for some stuff coming up, and as soon as we found out that within the space of 24 hours, and we've had the podcasts being recorded, it's then changed. It's been moved back 2 weeks. It's been moved forward a week. Mm-hmm. So it's really not even worth us telling you, because it could easily, by the time even this has been finished editing, be changed.
Yeah.
It's the needs of the game at the time come first, and then whatever updates are going on.
Yep.
When will extra items for unlocking things in ranking be put into the game? In which case?
Soon.
I believe within a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think it's next season. I think the earliest that you'll likely see it would be the beginning of season 14, let's say. But it is coming, and it'll be a big thing, and I think it is relating to Tor as well. So it's again the next stage on that.
Mm-hmm.
When are the customization options being put into the game? Excuse me. Again, I don't think it's the end of this season.
No.
I think it might be by season 15. It might even be a case of waiting until the main updates are done for the season, and then they'll appear. Because obviously that's the primary focus. Moving on is making sure that all the big updates are done.
Mm-hmm. Any news on the new achievements?
Those again are coming in soon.
Yeah. We don't know which ones yet.
We still don't know which ones they are. They might even be in at the beginning of next season.
Yeah.
But again, we'll find out about it soon. I think the latest it would be beginning of season 15, but it could even be the beginning of season 13, so next season.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't know how many. We don't know how many there are, and don't know which ones specifically have been picked from the list. I've got about a dozen more I could do now. Really, really complicated ones as well. I've literally just had an idea for an achievement called Best Foot Forward.
Best foot forward?
Yeah, where your entire team is left-footed. How awesome would that be? And you'd have to plan to get that.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Yeah, you would.
You have a first 11 who's entirely left-footed. So it would, because it's the least common foot as well. So it would be a rare one.
I'm actually left-footed.
You're left-footed?
Yes, I am. I was a reverse Beckham.
You're a reverse Beckham.
Yeah. Not that I was anywhere near as good.
Yeah. So you weren't as good. So you're also really good at tackling, I'm guessing, and rubbish at free kicks.
No, that was kind of the same.
Okay.
Kind of.
So rubbish at tackling and awesome at free kicks, yeah?
We'll say average at both.
Average at both.
Yeah.
If you would like Natchai in your side, I think he's in the game as an average rating 106.
Or 16.
Or 16. He's one of the cheating players. He's reduced to 10.
Yeah. I can barely walk.
I think I'm the groundsman. So I don't know when those are.
What are the special packs you were asking us about going to be included in the game? This has been a while.
We've not had special packs for a while.
A lot of new players won't even know what these special packs are, but in the beginning we've had continent-specific packs. So for South America, Europe, and Africa.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Yeah.
They might. I was going to say they might be waiting for the change around of the players, but I don't see why.
No.
Because if it's going to be a couple of seasons to go, you could still do them now. Mm-hmm. Let's ask about that.
Yeah, let's ask.
Let's ask about that. Dear Dev Team, remember when we used to have those wonderful things in the store? Can we have them back? And they're there. They're still in the game.
Yeah.
No, because we can see it in the back end that the player packs are there.
Yeah.
So that's. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
In the response to this on the forum, okay, or even on the Facebook page, guys, okay. When we've put this live and then you see it, comment and let us know what region or nationality you would like to see next, and we'll put that forward as a suggestion. How about that?
Yeah.
Is scouting going to change anytime soon?
Nope.
It's really not.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry about that. We do have some additional questions from the Italian and Spanish communities this time. So, hello guys. Dario would like to be able to choose his players' roles, for example, decide if his midfielder is right, left, etc. I think that's scouting again.
Yeah.
It would be, but then that would be very powerful, and you wouldn't be using anywhere near as many scouting tickets.
Yeah.
It's again, it's one of these things. Yes, that would be absolutely ideal, really, if your scout was any good. But clearly, your scout isn't very good.
No.
So perhaps there should be some way to get a better scout.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Scouting tickets, by the way, because we mentioned earlier, from Lacey, that we need scouting tickets. I wrote an absolute ton of updates for the future earlier today, and it does include social media giveaways, so stuff on the Facebook and the Twitter, that would give you coins, scouting tickets, and energy. So the stuff is now written, and it'll come to you at some point in time. I'm pretty certain you can expect that the next giveaway will be scouting tickets and not coins. You've had plenty of coins because we hit the 100k on the English Facebook page, which we're really pleased about. In fact, we're 120 now after a week later. So
yeah, and we appreciate every single one of you.
Absolutely. Corrado wants us to know if there'll be an Android or mobile version of the game. We have a couple of questions relating to this, just generally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one we get a lot, but it is not optimized for Android. It is not optimized for mobile or tablet or anything like that. It's just optimized for Facebook on your PC.
Yep. And as far as any mobile development goes,
we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. And if we knew, we wouldn't be able to tell you.
Even if we did, no. We're smart enough to realise, though, guys, that obviously, this would look pretty good on a tablet.
Yeah.
But
we know.
Not something that we can do anything about. Fabio wants to know why his players under 23 with no 10 stat haven't improved with the renewals. This is something that is being looked at by the team from several people who said that there's been no improvement, but then they renewed at the correct time, and there just wasn't an improvement. They didn't see one. So far, the ones that have come back so far, they did improve, and the players just haven't seen it. But Fabio, if your guy's not updating, we'll speak to the Italian CM and get your details and get those passed on.
Yep.
And we'll see what happened. There was also an instance with people saying that the player hadn't aged at all.
Yeah,
they were stuck like Peter Pan style on some age for an eternity. Not going to happen. We'll skip through these last few because we're sort of out of time really for this episode. The Spanish community, are coins going back into Tor? No, they're not. You get the coins are dispensed through other methods now through Tor. If you had stuck with what it was, then once you completed Tor, you do not get coins anymore.
Yeah.
Or rather, you get next to no coins, and it's the same that, if you were getting stuck in Tor, because people were complaining to me about the high energy nodes. Yeah, those high energy nodes, if you didn't win and you lose all your energy, then you wouldn't get coins from that at all. You get 1 coin for losing. So you get no coins, you'd lose all your energy, and you'd get next to nothing that day. So that situation doesn't happen anymore. You running out of places to be on Tor, and then then you don't get any coins because you're replaying the Tour. That situation doesn't happen anymore. Also, you've got all these new ways to get coins that have come into the game. Mm-hmm. The prices for releasing players have gone up. You've got these extra rewards for the statistics at the end of the season. Those have been included. This ties in with the next question, actually. Well, the next question is, why are the renewals so expensive? The renewals are a lot cheaper than they've ever been.
Yeah, they are.
Loads cheaper. Ask any of the senior players who've been playing this since, say season 6, roughly, or whenever it was that contract renewals actually came in. They're tons cheaper. And it's the same with transfers in general. Lots cheaper. You have to be more patient about your coins coming in. Yes. Plan ahead more for the future and think, okay, well, how am I going to spend these coins? Yes.
It's a management game.
It's a management game. It is all aspects of that. And because you do not have enough coins for doing something or buying someone, that does not mean that it is a bad update. It does not mean that we should just give you those coins so you could do it. It means that you have to make a decision as to, well, perhaps I'm not going to get this guy. Okay, who else can I get? Or, okay, what do I have to do to get him within the time limit? What can I do? Can I maybe release somebody? Is there anybody who's coming up to the end of their contract who's got, a decent amount of coins for release that maybe I'm not going to use anymore? It's up to you. Mm-hmm. We cannot play the game for you, and we're not going to just give you everything that you need at any given time, because otherwise what would be the point?
Yeah.
Are you going to add stadiums to get more achievements? More stadiums are coming in the update.
Yeah?
It's as far as I'm aware, stadiums are going to be updated. There's going to be some new ones.
That's very nice.
They still won't do anything.
Nope.
That's still on the list of things to come, with stadiums having an effect. How does logic, artistic, individual, team player attributes affect the game? See last episode.
Yeah, we've talked about this last
time. See last episode, or
In depth.
alternatively, obviously this is Spanish, so see the forum, and there is a very specific, we'll have an FAQ on this, I think, but if you look at the notes for the podcast, for podcast 5, it tells you there. It will tell you there. So it is the third layer of optimization, in short. And that
was the final question.
Was the final question. Whew. So a bit less technical this week.
Yeah.
A bit more discussion, which is good. I'm quite happy with that. It's nice to have a bit of a change up, because last week's from the time of recording anyway, the last episode of the podcast was very tech heavy. So hey, it's nice to talk about favourite players and good, awesome defenders and things going on in the game. But yeah, what do you hope to accomplish for the rest of this season?
I hope not to get relegated.
Yeah, are you still in danger?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh dear. You had a slow start last season as well, though, didn't you? You were.
No, last season I had a really good start. Like my first match was 1-7 versus in.
Curious then. So, will Natchai be relegated? Will I somehow get the Christmas achievement before ultimately falling down, ended up in 5th? Or will In steal it from me on the game before the Christmas achievement? I'm still bitter about that. I don't know. Find out next time we have a podcast with the PES-Association football. But from myself, Kevin, and from Natchai, that's all for now. See you soon, guys.
Bye.